Today we're looking into something truly awful. The Pahalgam attack on April 22nd, 2025.
A really horrific event. 26 people killed, 20 injured in Baisaran Valley.
Yeah, a place they call mini Switzerland. Turned into, well, a scene of absolute terror. We're drawing on reports, looking at the incident, the religious profiling aspect, and the geopolitical storm that followed.
And it escalated fast. There was that initial claim by TRF, the Resistance Front, which most see as an Aleti proxy.
Right, but then they retracted it. Said it was a cyber attack by India.
Exactly. India, meanwhile, squarely blamed Pakistan. Pakistan denied it. Instant escalation. Our goal here is to unpack the key facts, the why, and the wider impact.
Okay, let's start with the attack itself. How did it actually unfold?
Well, reports say 5 militants, heavily armed, wearing military camouflage, infiltrated Baisaran Valley. It's only accessible by foot or horseback through dense forest.
So quite remote.
Very. And they immediately started targeting males, asking their names, their religion, specifically Hindu tourists.
Horrifying. I read about forced recitations of the Kalima.
Yes, and inability to recite led to execution. They even forced some to remove trousers, checking for circumcision. Just brutal religious profiling.
And the weapons. AK-47s.
AK-47s and M4 carbines confirmed by forensics. The actual shooting lasted maybe 15-20 minutes.
And someone caught it on video.
Yeah, apparently a tourist from Ahmedabad who was ziplining. Plus, the terrorists themselves had GoPro-style cameras, likely for their own propaganda.
Chilling. Was there any local help involved?
It seems possible. Maybe 2 local terrorists herding tourists towards the attackers and the attackers themselves. They apparently trekked for 22 hours from the Kokernag forests.
It points to meticulous planning, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The planning, the religious targeting, the filming, it all screams intent to spread fear, sow communal discord, and create propaganda. This suggests, training and support beyond just a few local individuals.
Let's talk about the human cost. It's staggering.
26 dead, 25 tourists, and 1 local Muslim pony operator, Syed Adil Hussein Shah.
He was killed trying to protect tourists, wasn't he?
That's right. A really brave act. And the victims, they came from all over India. Maharashtra, Gujarat, Karnataka, West Bengal, MP, even Nepal, Andhra, Chhattisgarh. The list goes on.
It makes the impact truly national. And weren't some government officials among them?
Yes. 3 from the Air Force, Navy, and the Intelligence Bureau. Some survivors apparently mistook the attackers for security forces initially.
And Syed Adil Hussein Shah's sacrifice. It really challenges that narrative of widespread local support for militants.
It absolutely does. A powerful counterpoint.
Okay, so responsibility. The TRF claimed it, then retracted it. What's the thinking there?
Well, the initial claim on Telegram mentioned residency permits for outsiders, changing demographics. Then 4 days later, they backtracked, blaming Indian intelligence for a cyber intrusion.
But TRF is widely seen as an Lati front, right? Lashkar-e-Taiba.
Correct. A UN-designated terror group. India has declared TRF a terrorist organization, too. So the retraction is seen by many as Pakistan or maybe the ISI, trying to distance themselves, trying to avoid blame.
Especially with FATF scrutiny, maybe. TRF emerged after Article 370 was revoked. No explicit religious identity.
That's a theory, yeah, to try and fly under the radar. The NIA is investigating, questioning locals, looking for links to past attacks. They've released sketches, too.
Who are the suspects?
3 names mentioned. Hashim Musa, also called Suleiman, believed Pakistani. Ali Pai, or Talo Pai, also Pakistani. And Adil Hussein Toker, a local from Anantnag. There's a big bounty out.
Any preliminary findings on the attackers?
Early indications point to maybe 4 attackers. 3 foreign, likely Pakistani, and 1 local, possibly this Adil Thoker, who apparently got radicalized back in 2018, linked to Hizbul Mujahideen, trained with Lati in Pakistan, and returned in 2024.
So the claim and retraction really highlight the information war aspect.
Definitely. And the TRF-Lati link reinforces India's narrative about Pakistan's support for terrorism, undermining any claim that TRF is purely indigenous.
What about intelligence? Was there any warning?
There was intelligence, yes, but it seems to have been general. Potential attacks on tourist spots, with a specific focus mentioned on Srinagar hotels. Security was heightened there, near the Zabarwan range.
But the attack happened in Pahalgam.
Exactly. The intel was perhaps too unspecific about the exact location or timing. Baisaran Valley wasn't under that same high security.
Could the Srinagar focus have been a diversion?
It's possible, a feint to draw security away. And the timing, even with the Prime Minister's visit being postponed, still suggests aiming for maximum attention.
So how did India respond? It seemed pretty comprehensive.
Oh, absolutely. Diplomatically. Borders closed, Pakistani visas under the SARC program canceled, diplomatic ties downgraded, diplomats expelled. They took it to the UN Security Council.
And economically. The Indus Waters Treaty suspension was huge.
Massive. Plus, a ban on all imports-exports, Pakistan-flagged ships banned from Indian ports, mail services suspended, Atari border posts closed. They even asked the Asian Development Bank to halt funding to Pakistan. The PM gave complete operational freedom. Search operations kicked off in Pahalgam, border skirmishes, increased lossy firing. The Navy even issued a firing alert in the Arabian Sea.
And information warfare.
And about 16 Pakistani YouTube news channels blocked social media of Pakistani celebrities citing provocative content and false narratives.
Wow, a full spectrum response. How did the world react?
Widespread condemnation: U.S., Qatar, Singapore, UN, Russia, Iran, Turkey. Lots of calls for restraint, de-escalation.
Any specific offers of help or notable positions?
The U.S. offered support to India, urged Pakistan's cooperation. Qatar's emir offered to work with Pakistan. Russia and Iran offered mediation. Turkey notably used the term Jammu and Kashmir.
And Pakistan's stance.
They called for a neutral investigation. The UNSC held closed consultations, but no formal statement emerged immediately.
So the whole region feels like it's on a knife edge now.
Very much so. Escalating rhetoric from both capitals, military posturing, low-sea firing continues, reciprocal airspace closures, Pakistan closing ports to Indian ships.
What are the experts saying? Is war likely?
Most analysts think full-scale war is unlikely, primarily because of nuclear deterrence. But the risk of miscalculation, limited skirmishes, maybe even covert actions like targeted assassinations, that's considered very high.
And the Indus Waters Treaty. Pakistan called it an act of war.
Yeah, huge anger there. They've threatened to suspend other agreements like the Simla Accord. India, meanwhile, is talking about enhancing its water storage capacity. It raises concerns about water treaties globally, maybe even how China might react regarding the Brahmaputra.
So looking ahead, the long-term implications seem dire.
Definitely. For Kashmir's tourism and economy, it's a devastating blow. Mass cancellations reported, reversing recent gains. It could really hurt the region's GDP.
And India-Pakistan relations.
Probably the worst crisis in years. Diplomatic channels frozen, increased regional instability. It threatens the whole idea of cooperation and maybe even Kashmir's fragile democratic process.
What about counterterrorism? Will this change India's approach?
It likely forces a reevaluation. We might see a more assertive Indian stance, perhaps exploring offensive deterrence or unconventional means. It could also lead to shifts in geopolitical alignments, how the U.S., China, and others position themselves.
So the Pahalgam attack.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a brutal act of violence, but a catalyst with really far-reaching consequences. Religious targeting, immediate geopolitical fallout, economic damage, and this specter of wider conflict.
It lays bare the complexity of Kashmir and the incredibly delicate balance of power in South Asia.
It leaves you thinking, doesn't it? How does an event like this reshape counterterrorism globally? What's the actual future path for India-Pakistan relations now? And that suspension of the Indus Waters Treaty, is that a permanent game changer?
Critical questions with no easy answers right now.
This deep dive gives you a snapshot of a really critical and deeply concerning moment. Thanks for joining us.